Ohayo gozaimasu. Ohayo. Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. I see we already had a sub from Rudy. Thank you so much before the stream. Someone's early, eager. I like it. I hope we're all doing. Who's here? Vivid, Nedha, Nuha, Spiegel, Diku, Kulta, Voxel. How are we all doing? First time chatter Rudy, thank you so much for that. You subscribed before you even sent a single message. Thank you. That's great. Yeah, I hope we're all doing well. Just getting set up here. I'm feeling a little ill today. Last week, there was a bug going around the school, and last week it was kind of all hands on deck with looking after my son because he couldn't go. He had like a stomach bug. And so me and Ayana have been busy. My hours have been all over the place, like working different hours to try and cover each other. He's okay now. He's back to school and all happy. But now I've got sick yesterday. And so I'm not feeling great today. If I get really bad, maybe we'll just make it an hour stream, but I think I should be okay. I'm feeling alright. Yesterday was not great. Nice shirt, thank you. Yeah. I don't have much stuff to talk about off the bat. We are, as it says in the title description there, we are working on the Adolescento. I really thought this would be done by now, but a bunch of things happened. I had a bunch of excursions, was it last week? And then I had a bunch of other stuff that just kept me away from this particular project. And so that's a secret. it kept me away from this project, and so I've only actually been working on this since the colour block since Monday. I guess I did the tracing, like prepared all the sheets. Tuesday I carved all the lines pretty much all in one day of the 6 blocks, and then yesterday I did all the clearing. Am I missing a day there? What day is it today? Friday. Maybe Monday wasn't a thing. Maybe it was Tuesday I made it. Maybe I think I had to go to Mokankan one of the days. That's true. I went to Mokankan one day. And then yesterday I did all the clearing, and today they're looking a little rough. I'm going to have to do some of the valley clearing first, and then we will get ready with the ice cube work. We have ads coming in 5 seconds, and so we'll start the work after that. I'm sorry for the ads. Please be patient. Okay, I think they're in ads right now. It shouldn't be a very long one. I paused them before the stream. I accidentally clicked the snooze. So let's see. Planetary rings. Yes, indeed. Planetary rings. Maybe I can show you a printout of the key block. Good morning, Citron. All 6 blocks lines carved in one day. Yeah, they're actually not that complicated. So typically I allow like a day for each colour block. When it's this size, you know, it's about a day for each colour block if I did them like that. So it'd be carving, clearing, smoothing them out, and then doing all the ice cube work. But that's not actually how I work. Maybe I'll explain that process. Ad break ends in a minute. Oh my god, it's a long one. I thought it was supposed to be less than a minute. Strange. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. What else can I have to say before they come back? Vivid, how is your blocks coming along? Are you working... You've done the key blocks for that design you dropped in the Discord? Wield the ice ski. I was like, Siski? Yeah. Alright, a couple seconds now and they'll be back and we can get started in earnest. 2, 1. Sorry about the ads. Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Another little thing just before I get started on the carving is I have a new lens. I have a macro lens, which means that I'm much closer to the block here. The quality should be much nicer. I've fixed the autofocus. I've taken everyone's suggestions on board. Ziberius and Alpha Stop. Nice view. Thank you. Hey, Chicken Meister, welcome. Yeah, so the quality should be a little better. The only issue is, and I'm a bit of an idiot, my sister's a photographer and I reached out to her and asked her, but she didn't get back to me, and I really wanted to get the camera for this stream. But I didn't realise that this lens was a fixed lens, and so I bought it secondhand, and it's lovely. It gets really nice shots, but it's fixed distance, so I can't actually zoom in and out, so that might be a problem. I do have my old lens here, so I can actually switch between the lenses if I want to do wide shots, but for standard working I think this is okay. It's nothing ever goes smoothly, but we're getting there. Slowly we're getting there. So I'm going to get started. Well, what I was saying just now during the ads was that typically one of these colour blocks takes about a day to do everything, from like after it's pasted all the way to the end until I'm done it. It takes about a day per block. Some blocks are a little bit more complicated, other blocks are a little bit quicker to do, like just with small colours. Like this one's kind of easy, There's just one section in the middle here. That doesn't take a whole day, obviously. But it averages out to about a day per block. But I don't actually carve like that. I do all the knife work, then I do all the clearing, and then I do the ice ski work, which is what we're going to be doing today. Although I do have a little bit of like touching up to do. I'm missing one of my tools. And that. So got it. So stuff like here in the valleys, I'm going to clean up this. I'm not going to smooth out all the bottoms perfectly on stream because that's a bit dull. Typically what I do is I take my larger chisels first. I take these ones and just with my hand I'd come in around all the edges. I did this last time and it's not so interesting for you guys. And the blocks, they're okay. They're not too bad. I can come in with this after and I can smooth out any edges. It's mainly the areas where the U-gouge hit here. I take a U-gouge. It's mainly the areas where the U-gouge came across here and then the larger chisels came in next to it. And you'll see there's like little ridges. Well, maybe you can't see very clearly. There's like little ridges here. And those are the areas that are prone to picking up. So you just come around and smooth out those edges. I'm not going to bore you all with that. I can do that after. I wonder if I can finish all these blocks today. I won't be doing it on stream. We'll be lucky if we can finish one. Oh, new sub. Thank you. The Penguin. Thank you so much. I'm confused. Yes, no. Comments necessary. I thought you weren't streaming today. Thought I wasn't streaming today. Last week I didn't stream. I'm back today. I don't think I put any notifications that I wasn't streaming today. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's get into this. When we've been on a little bit, I'll show you the key block impressions for this one, because I don't think I showed you last time. So I can show you them. It's Friday morning here today, and it's a lot cooler in Tokyo today. It's been absolutely roasting the last few days, and I don't do very well. And the humidity is the one that gets me. I really struggle with it. And I haven't been here in this new house in summer yet. So I didn't actually know what this room was like to work in. But for some reason, it's on the north side. It should be like cooler. But it's actually roasting here at night, especially. I had all the windows open and there's a little fan in here. So it might have to be sort of an AC summer for me. Good morning, Hafukes. Soon there will be an announcement about staying hydrated. Yeah, they do pass by here. The van's announcing all sorts of stuff. Potential for fires and stuff like that. If it hasn't rained in a while. There was a strange van on my way back from dropping my boy off at his hoikuen. What's the word for it? We don't say kindergarten in the UK. I think it's crash. Crash is the word. On the way back from there was like I guess it was a laundry van, and it had a really old speaker that sort of sounded like a gramophone. You know, those really kind of cheap speakers, but it had an amazing sound, and it was playing like some 1930s Japanese sort of like swing jazzy stuff, and I couldn't figure out why. It looked like he was just unpacking clothes from like a laundrette. Preschool, yeah, that's probably the word. It's been bucketing down here the last few days. Small creek running through your backyard. Ooh, get the sandbags out. Oh, new chatter. Hey, Steve. How are you doing? How deep do you carve down? I think we have a command for that. Just to check the commands work. Maybe you can put it in. I will explain it. Does anyone know? I think it's depth. Not depth. I need to make a I need to make a command with a list of all the commands. I haven't done that. I keep forgetting. It's depth. It was just on cooldown. Thank you. Ah, it's there. Thank you. Someone beat me to it. Who was that? Zabus. Oh, thank you. Ziberius, sorry. God. Yeah, so with the depth, actually on my website there's a Q&A section, and I made like a little graph type illustration on one of the depth questions. The important thing about depth is you always want to be getting deeper the further away from the lines you are. So you never want it to sort of... It will get flatter in the valleys. Like here, it will be flatter. But from here down to here, it should always be slightly sloping down. And then on the other side, it should always be slightly sloping up. You don't want any areas where it comes down, 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 bumps up and goes down like that. You sort of want to keep the ramps smooth. And the smoother you can make those transitions, the easier it is for the printers, and the pigment glides across the block much better. And so you can spread the pigment easier. It takes less time to do the brushing work if the block is cooperating with the blush, and you can spread everything evenly. So maximum of like 4 to 6. On these blocks I won't go past 4. But on larger like Orban prints where you've just got like a dot here and then really quite far away you've got a couple dots in somewhere else, you might need to go a little bit lower, particularly on the edges of blocks. On the top corners here, because the brush comes like this. The brush will come like this, and because there's nothing holding the paper on this side, the paper can fall lower usually on these edges, and so you want to take the sides a little bit deeper often. Same with next to the registration, this area, I talked about this before. This one needs to be quite deep because when you're putting the paper in, it flexes through here and you can easily bend it too much and put it down. Anyway. So I hope that helps. These are some of the new blocks, not the wood that me and Dave took to Kiba the other day, but these are some planks that had been cut a while back but been saved. And they're a little soft, but they're smooth. Slightly fibrous, but I mean, these are just, they're actually quite nice colour blocks. A little bit fibrous. You can see like stuff like this. Oh, this stuff here. If you've got a really like nice smooth hard block, you don't get much of that, and you don't have to turn the block as much to smooth out areas. But that is being really nitpicky. Like, compared to what I've been having recently, this is really great. No worries. And if there's no undersea mountains, there's less pigment that will build up and touch the paper. Yeah. That's very true. Well done. Oh God, what have I clicked? Hang on a second. I've done something to my chat. I've enlarged my chat across my stream. I can't actually see anything now. Give me a second. It is full screened. Let's take this across. Come in. F11? I don't have my keyboard. We have... What an absolute nightmare. Anyway, I'll just use my phone. I've just thrown it off onto the other screen, and we'll use chat takeover. Yeah, I can't see anything that's happening. I thought we were doing good with the tech issues today, you know. Anyway, let's get into some coloring properly. I have used the block edge to define the edge of the print the last couple of times, and it's not saved me a lot of clearing time, but it saved me a lot of clearing time, but also makes the margins of my paper much clearer. I'm going to continue with that practice. So you're talking about running your colour right up to the edge here. Typically, in the traditional system, that's never done. We never run the colour right up to the edge. But if that's working for you, interesting. Well, I can understand the reason for doing that. Do you have any issues spreading the pigment at the end? Because it's, when you're doing that, the brush comes off the edge. My assumption would be, is the brush should come off the edge, and when you're trying to brush back on, you're getting pigment building up along the edge, and you'll get a different tone across here. So I guess getting a nice smooth colour doing it that way, not impossible, but I think you'd have to be really careful. Nice light passes at the top though. This is actually one of the worst blocks. The other blocks are a little bit nicer. This one is a little bit sort of brittly. Do you run into issues with squareness of the edge relative to the Kento? Squareness of the edge. It's not something I ever do. I've never done that, and I don't think I will. There's not really a use case for that for me. Oh, that was for flyfish. Yeah, go ahead, answer that. That's an interesting question. Okay, I'm more zoomed in than I used to be. You guys are going to have to use the zoom function if I'm going off the block. Well, actually, the zoom function is not going to work now if I'm using this lens. I'll have to switch lenses. I can't actually zoom, which is an absolute crisis. The good thing is the focal length is really great, and I will be able to use this lens even if it's not appropriate for stream, which would be a shame. I think it's just the right distance. I am going to have to get used to keeping it much more centered. I guess it won't be much of a thing. Keeping it on camera is much easier when I'm carving, but I tend to move around a lot more, and I'm rotating the block. So it's a little bit trickier to keep it on camera. Kind of wants to go this way. So the print we're working on, here it is. This is the lines from the key block. This is the design for the July print for the Atolicento subscription. This is the first key block. And then we have a second key block, which is here. And this fits inside of it. Oop. So through the window. So we've got sort of a halo situation going on. It's working over here. So Flyfish is talking about, in Japanese we call it soto kento, outside registration. So he's registering his blocks by using a jig outside, and I guess you slot your block into a thing that you've either drilled into your table, and then that has the registration marks, so it'd be outside here. It's called called Sotokento in Japanese. Welcome in, Dan Scorch. So I watched back a little snippet of the last one. I don't know, there's something, like, while it's happening, it feels like an absolute train wreck sometimes. It felt really awful the last stream. I felt like I just talked like way too much, and it was probably a little bit unappealing if you're not like actually making blocks yourself, which I know there's a few of you here, but not enough to sustain a whole community here, I guess. And with all the technical issues and stuff, it just felt like a train wreck. I watched a little snippet back. I don't think it was bad as I thought, but I'm gonna try and manage the amount of... It was fine, don't sweat. I think it does get a little bit too much for like a general watcher. So I think it's good to add little tidbits. But I was talking to Ayano about it, and she raised a good point that because it's really early days in my streams, everything that I'm showing is like the first time I've shown it live. And so I think it's okay to go in a little bit more detail at the start, and once everyone is more familiar with like the way I do it, there's a few anachronisms from the way you see other people carving on Twitch. I do some things a little different, and so a little bit of extra explanation during the first like couple months I think is all good, and then in the future I won't have to explain these stuff. That's very kind of you, Happy Yeeks. Thank you. Yeah, I'm settling into it a little bit more today, I feel. Maybe it's just because I'm ill. I don't have the energy to be too stressed about it. I feel quite relaxed today. Chickenmeister says, having to explain what you're doing is a great way to solidify your understanding. Well, I don't actually... I've taught a lot of lessons, actually. And so, explaining exactly what's going on, I feel actually quite comfortable in doing that. And I think I can do that quite well in a generalist setting. Like in a classroom or something, I feel kind of activated and on the ball, and I feel like I can boil things down. I don't think it's been like that on stream just yet. Mostly because my unfamiliarity with the platform, and because technical issues really throw me off. But I can feel like slowly little things are like slipping into place. If this happens, then I can handle that. Like each time a new thing comes up, I do a little bit of research, and then I find out a little bit more. I was doing the stream settings last night, bringing it down from like 6,000 to like 4,500. So these will be, hopefully we won't get any of the other lag issues. We We had a little bit of like latency or drop frames. I'm not sure which one it was. I didn't have my stats open. But I think we won't get much more of that unless I have an internet issue. And if we do start getting stuff like that regularly, I can try and run an Ethernet cable because I'm on Wi-Fi at the moment. But there are ways around it. We should be okay. It should be. My point is, slowly, we're getting into a more stable streaming thing. So thank you to you early folks who are here now, helping me with all my teething issues. Most of this was supposed to be sorted out before I started streaming in earnest during the test streams. But that really didn't happen. Someone who tries to carve with the traditional techniques, but without the benefit of tutelage. All of the random explanations are very interesting. Even things probably think are mundane are interesting, new for a lot of folks. Yeah, I guess that's true. If you're somebody like you who's making your own making your own prints, if you're a casual viewer, I think little tidbits are great, and it's interesting to have a bit better an understanding of things, even if you don't like retain that information. It's interesting just to hear like, oh, this is all the considerations that go into making it. The issue for me, I think, is that on the last stream, I think it took me like 3 times as long to just paste down a thing because I was talking about pasting a little too much, which is great if for all of you people out there making your own prints. But I think if I wasn't a printmaker myself, I'd just get on with it, paste it down. But you've seen that now, and next time we do that sort of thing, we won't have to get into all that much detail. I can just do it, and you guys will understand. And next time, if I do, go a little bit too far, you can just use this.
Talking too much.
Get me back to work. This is going to be one of the more common questions, I guess. Why do I not rotate my block? A couple reasons. One is that the ability to carve in all directions is really important because it means there's no area of the block that's like a tricky area to carve. So even if I did rotate, then the block is maybe too large and I can't reach the top corner or something. The ability to carve any area from any position without rotating the block is like a real advantage, and it means there's no areas that you're like overly stretched and can't carve clearly. I think that's probably the best one. It allows you to get smoother lines as well by not pausing in the middle of a curve. You can take a curve in one stroke rather than stopping and realigning your blade every time you turn the block. And technically it's like slightly more efficient. But I put more emphasis on the taste of the lines. It gives you nicer looking lines in general, if you're able to do it without turning. Of course, when we're clearing with the ice ski like this, we always turn. You will notice here, I'm not actually getting all these little bits inside and all the other bits. I'm just using my bigger chisel first and getting all like the gross areas where my big chisel can get into. Once I'm finished with that, I'll step down. But there's no harm in switching tools out. Moving down the sides and just finishing one section. It's like whatever suits your personality. Did I get a chance to update my Discord link? Yes, it's done. It's a permanent link now, I think. Hang on, let's check it. That should work. If anyone here is interested, that is the link to the Discord. And it should be working now. So this is what I was saying, all these little things there. It's a lot at the moment to get everything sorted. And it feels like everything's breaking and stuff all right now, but slowly these things are getting fixed. And in the future, I don't think we'll have much issues. And because there's so many issues, like I'm learning how to fix them all now. So if they happen again on the stream and stuff, I feel like I could fix them in real time quickly. So the issues are actually a benefit. They're a good thing. That's what I'm telling myself. It's good that everything's breaking now. I didn't carve this line very deep. I'm going to touch it up. With a colour block, doing things like this is fine. There's a line there. I'm not carving on the outside of a line. I'm not trying to get nice taste in this line. I just need to cut it somewhere in the middle of it. So doing things like that is no issue. If that was a carved line, it was thin on both sides, I wouldn't be attacking it like that. I just carve it correctly the first time. I did carve all these blocks in one day, so little things like that. I should have really caught. I shouldn't also be pushing through that. I should use my U-gouges. Before I'd actually do the ice ski, usually I'd go through with my smaller U-gouges first. And after this stream, that's what I'll do. I'll take my U-gouges and I'll go through all the other blocks. We have a few more blocks here. Maybe I can show you. This is a sort of tan. This is another sky block. The one we're carving right now is a sky block with the halo ring. This is a brown, I think. It's creating a lot of shadows, some patterns. Then we have an orange. This is just some wood colour, table colour. Little bits like that. And then this one is like a dark blue. So I'm not going to show you the final image, but you can sort of put it together in your head. This is the July print. July. So the current month is Space Amma. I carved that one. This is the wrong block. Current month is Space Amma. The next one will be a forest scene. That was carved by Kawasaki-san. And then after that one will be this. So you're getting a real sneak peek at this one. I don't know if that's a good thing for most of you. Is it a bad thing? Maybe some of you would prefer not to see it. And if that's the case, then comment. I've already shown you. Just pretend you didn't see the key lines. This is just a random block. Can you guys hear that? Vibrating. My door is vibrating. Summertime theme, yeah. Nice warm summery scene. This chat is on the cutting edge. You are indeed. Twitch is a very punny place. It's one of the most densely punned places on the internet, I think. It must be. I don't know what it is about a chat. Maybe it's the quick little comments. Short messages are read easier. I guess that's probably it. I'm not judging you for puns either. I often, if I talk, if I'm not lurking, then I tend to find myself using puns a lot. And I don't use puns in my daily life. So it's a funny one. But I guess that must be it. The short, quick comments. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about was the Friday evening streams. Currently, we're doing a morning stream on Friday and an evening stream on Tuesday. And the idea was to get more what's the word? More Europeans in the chat. Because any morning stream in Japan is sort of like past midnight or midnight past midnight on the continent. So I thought if I did an evening stream that we'd get like different people in each chat. But I think what's actually happening is I'm just inconveniencing the Americans or the people in that time zone, and not actually. There's like one or two people. I think it's 3% Germans was the analytic I saw. 3% Germans. I don't think I even saw a percentage for the UK, which was surprising to me because I thought that's where the bulk of the people would come from. So, yeah, it was like 75-80% Americans, the last stream, who were watching live on the stream summary. if that's going to be the case, like, I'm going to carry on as it is for now, because you've got to give these things time. But if that is the case, then I won't be doing... I think we'll knock that on the head, and we'll just do morning streams. I think it'll be easier for the actual people who watch. And it's a little less taxing for me. Oh, the chat paused. Sorry, I'm missing so much chat because it was paused. Planes. I use pans a lot in daily life, but most people just don't get them. Maybe chat, you can have more time to think about them. Do I count as German if I live in Japan? No, I count you as Japanese. For the sake of the statistics, anyway. You're from UK, but you're VPNing through Germany. Yeah, it's hard to catch the evening streams for the West Coast, right? Both times are convenient for you, so I guess that means you're East Coast then, KP. It's surprising that more UK folks aren't involved. We have such a rich heritage and wonderful woodblock printmaking. Yeah, I agree. And it's like, it's my home country. I thought a few of my friends would drop in. It's kind of niche what I do. It's like really not for everything. The other issue, I talked to my sister about it, and she was... I know a lot of people who watch Twitch sort of watch it during their work breaks. Or during work, they have it on a second monitor or just like in a hidden tab. And they listen to it in the background, like sort of half focusing on it. But I guess if you're not a person who watches Twitch regularly and has that on in the background, if you're downloading something just for a specific stream, then that sort of feels maybe a little strange to do that. I don't know. Stuff with vocals and like talking, especially if you're doing typing work, I find difficult to listen to. When I'm carving, it doesn't affect me. I like lyrical stuff and listening to Twitch when I'm working, but I'm not having to structure sentences and stuff when I'm working. So, like if I'm doing Patreon updates or writing blogs or something like that, I can't really listen to anyone talking. The stream times will also change for most of the people twice a year. Yeah. Are they... A lot of countries are dropping the summer times, right? Central. You're in Central. 5:30 in the US is kind of hit or miss for you. 5:30 would be which ones? That would be my this time or my Tuesday streams? Coming up to an hour. Countries have been saying that for 30 years. We've got people on both sides of this argument. I don't really have an opinion strongly about it. The daylight savings. People who have an opinion tend to have a quite strong opinion. I've lived in both, in the UK and in Japan. Japan, we don't have daylight savings. The UK, we do. I don't know. I think it's just easier in Japan, actually. That's probably my... I'd say skip it. But if someone put forward a convincing argument to not skip it, then I'd go with that. I don't have a strong opinion either way. Today's stream, this time is perfect. Yeah, this... I think for most of the viewers we have so far, I think this time is probably better. If there are any... Well, the Europeans wouldn't be in the chat on this one, maybe. The people who feel strongly about it are not involved in the conversation today. I'm not going to change it straight away. I think you need to give things time. But if I consistently see that most of the people are still the Americans and the European numbers are really low, and also the numbers are lower on those days, I think usually... Well, it's a bit tricky now because I missed last Friday stream. But if the numbers are lower, I'm not locked into these times right now. The starting time, yes, it has to be 9:30 AM PM. I think those are the only really real options that work for me. Unless I was to do more sporadic streams, just like when I felt like. But I don't think that's the way forward. From what you've seen, most people are on board with knots changing, but the argument is over which one to keep permanently. You don't have any electricity in your shed during summer, so you can stay longer in the shed at night. Very selfish. Welcome in, Mr. Soviet, or Mrs. Soviet. Welcome in, Soviet. We make Japanese woodblock prints here. I am working on a woodblock print for a big woodblock company here in Tokyo. This is a subscription print sent out once each month. And this is working with a couple of French artists called Atelier Cento. This is one of the colour blocks. Oh, you follow Dave's channel? Okay, I don't need to give you the whole spiel then. Welcome, welcome. You tune into both, but you interact during the other since you're working. Interact with the other one. So interacting on the Tuesday streams. I did some little adjustments on my large clearing chisels. It wasn't this weekend. Was it last weekend? But in lieu of a technical segment today, question time, I thought I'd just show you what I did and explain how I touched up some of my tools. So we'll do that just after the ads, which will be, I don't know, I guess in about 5 minutes or so. How long have I been doing this professionally? When did I start professionally? I've been carving since like September 2018. I got my apprentice in April 2019. So it's like nearly 6 years. In August it'll be 6 years. All apprentices would have to carve and print. No, typically, like there are sosoku hanga artists who do apprenticeships as well, and they do carving and printing. But all the traditional apprenticeships, you choose carving or printing, and you apprentice with a carver or a printer. Asuka Sensei is a little bit different. His main is carving, but in order to teach and to get apprentices and to have a class, he also did an apprenticeship in printing. But that's really quite unusual. So usually apprenticeships are just one. Tradition. When clearing, do you start with bigger tools and then move to small ones? Yeah, that's exactly what I do, yeah. So you've seen now, this is my biggest ice-ski. And I've just been going around all this, but these small sections in here, I've just been leaving. I should have actually cleared that with the U-gouges. So I start with my big U-gouge, then I'll move to this U-gouge, which is a smaller one. It's kind of small. And then I'll move to this, and then I'll just go down the row. If I'm carving more delicate work, I will swap tools a bit more. But this is not very difficult. And it's not very fiddly. I'm not worried about like chipping lines and stuff. After I'll move down to maybe something like this to get in here. Whether I do it now or later, it's no big deal. A bit deep there. The wood wants to run under. Did you start off with woodworking? How should I used to do, like I've always done DIY and stuff with wood. When I was younger, I remember there was one thing for school, like whenever there was an event for primary school, I would always go massively over the board, and people would bring in like little cardboard box. There was one, for instance, where we made musical instruments, and most people came in with like a tissue box with rubber bands going across. And I brought in a fully functional trumpet that I made. So stuff like that. Just made out of copper pipes. But woodworking, we had like a day, because we're Welsh, we have Celtic origins, we had a day where we had to dress up like Celts. And I made myself a spear, a shield, an axe, a helmet, all out of wood, like using jigsaws and stuff like that. So I'd always done like things with my hand, woodwork and stuff. And later on, while I was more into like my bushcraft and stuff, I did a lot of whittling, like making spoons and chopping boards and whatever I needed to go camping. So I used to do a lot of whittling and stuff like that. But other than that, not really. No, I've never done kumiko. Having a knowledge of printing would probably help your carving. I'm in two minds about this. Like, obviously, a base understanding of printing, like the ability, especially in the early years, because no one's going to print your stuff in the early years, especially with the current climate, with so little printers. So yeah, you should be able to like print decently, and that is something that everyone will do. But a lot of the other, like, I don't think dividing your time and putting any real considerable time into learning to print correctly and moistening the paper and all this is like that relevant. And in fact, I'd say it's probably a hindrance. It's better just to focus. But I think a good general knowledge is obviously essential. Did you use a flat chisel to make the valleys? Let's show the chisels now then. This is my chisel box. And they'd become really patinaed. This collar here, let's take them out. So these are what I use at the moment. And because I grab them like this, let me change the shutter speed. Maybe I can move to the big camera. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is my U-gouge. This is the one I use first. And inside along the edges here, the same for this one as well. They'd become all like darkened because I grab them like this and I'm working with them like because of the way I clear the blocks. I start from just doing one tool and then I do all the clearing in one day. Maybe if the blocks are bigger, I'll do it over a couple of days. But holding this like this all day and then putting it straight back into your thing without wiping it down, you get like some staining. So what I did is I took a Dremel to all my tools. I removed all the gunning blue here and polished up all the collars and stuff. Got rid of any like little spot rust places. And then I used, it's called Super Blue. What's the brand? I really hate using it. I think it's quite a strong carcinogen, and so I really avoid using it. I think Tuku my son, had gone with my partner out for the day, and so I decided to do it then. And I re-blued everything to prevent rust. Yeah. So I do this not every year, but maybe like every 2 years. I'll take the Dremel, sand them back, and re-blue them. I think I've done it twice in the 6 years, so every 3 years is average. Although I didn't have my Dremel during the first years. But yeah, I redressed them, I redid the edges on everything, and so these looking nice and clear. Korengami, no, who was asking? So yeah, KP was asking 50kp was asking about which chisel do I use to clear. This is my main clearing chisel. It's not got a curve in it, it's completely flat. I don't know how to show you exactly. The slight curve on the front there is a little bit misleading. There's no curve in it, it's completely flat. There is a slight curve in the centre here, so it means that you just sharpen around the edge here, so you can get a nice sharp tip. That's just to help with the sharpening. But the actual cutting edge is all flat. So that's what I use to clear all my blocks with. And then I have a smaller one for smaller areas, and this is the one I use to scrape the edges. That's it. I think they turned out really nice. Let's move them across. So those are all the clearing chisels I have. I keep them in a little tin with foam. Oh, happy Ukes. See you later. Thank you for showing up. Is that 6 years of use? Yeah, like I said, I've touched them up a couple times. Interesting shape. This is my curved one, this is for Sheena. So that's about the curve I want on them. They're mostly flat, they just taper off to the edges. If it's too straight, then they tend to catch the edges. So I round off the edges just slightly. You can see here, there's a slight rounding off on the edge. That's how I sharpen those. And my large chisel is the same. So there's just a slight curve in it. Just a slight curve, yeah. And then these sharp edges, you can see that it's like a little bit messy around the top here. I round off any sharp corners just by scratching the back like this without touching the front. I do that with all my ice skis as well. Any of those silica gel? No, these are, I don't know what it is actually. I think it's foam that I got for, in my old house, my carving bench was right against the wall, and thin Japanese wooden walls, the vibrations was kind of nuts, and it was turning my room into a drum. And so I got that foam to pad around my desk so I could reduce the banging noise. And then I used the extras to make the padding in the box. I'm not sure what the actual foam stuff is. Have you ever used shallow hand-powered chisels? No, I haven't. I think that would sort of ruin the peace of my day. What I have used is, there was one project where a iron teppan was used, so it's like a metal key block. And the clearing work on that was kind of awful. Asuka Sensei was doing it, I got to see him do it once. He does a lot of work for the Yumeiji estate. And they had lost, I think, one of their metal key blocks. And they wanted to reproduce that print. But I think the metal key block had been misplaced, so they had another one ordered. But because it's only carved quite shallowly, these areas here where we have large areas, they need to be cut away with a jigsaw. No, with an angle grinder. Is that what you call the circular ones? Spinning disc, angle grinder. Yeah, it's angle grinder. So cutting into them and just metal filings all over the workshop. That was not so much fun. That's not something you get to see very often. Why were we talking about this? Kind of a subdued stream today. Handheld desk about 50 centimeters, makes a hellish racket. Angle grinder, that's the word. Is that what I said? I have no idea. Blame it on the not feeling well, actually. So what we're looking at, like an hour and a half, 2 hours per block. I have 6 blocks. Let's say, accounting for lunch and stuff, 2 hours per block. But probably not even that much, you know. There's a chance I finish today, all these blocks. And then that means from next week, I don't actually know what I will be doing. You certainly won't see these again. Brittle. I should have chosen one of the nicer blocks. This is definitely one of the worst blocks. The other blocks are actually kind of nice. But you can see it's nice smooth wood. It'll print really well because it's quite soft. How long they'll last is another question. I don't know. The second key block for this print is extremely soft. I'm a little worried about that one. That one's going to be trouble. Because it is defining colour areas, to fix a single colour block is really easy. Like if this one wore out in the future, I could just take an impression, make this one again, no hassle, no stress, and no one would ever know that I replaced this block. Replacing the second key block, it's not very big, but some of the lines are a little thin on it, and it's bordering shapes that are defined on 2 key blocks, so it could be really tricky to reproduce. If I was to do it, I'd have to be pinpoint accurate with my carving. I'd have to go really slow and careful. Because if I made any variations from what it is now, then it would mean that the colour blocks all have to be reproduced as well. Or maybe not all, but I guess the sky blocks minimum. So it'd be, instead of just replacing a single block, it would probably lead to replacing 3, which is not ideal. But this has a deadline. We don't have any other really nice key blocks yet. does look like I'll be getting some more work in soon from Asuka Sensei. It's been kind of relaxed the last couple of weeks, you know. With no work from him, I've just been like fiddling around with Twitch stuff, making Discord and stuff like that. But I don't know if I'm going to have so much time for that type of stuff when I'm working till God knows how late every day, trying to finish. Hopefully I get a good lead time on the project, so I won't be as rushed. But I guess it's another project with Kodokawa, although I can't say anything else. I haven't even seen the design yet, so I'm not sure. But I guess it's another anime print. And then I've also got my own projects. I've got 2 of my own projects on the go at the moment. I'm going to have to finish that Senshafada one quickly, otherwise I'm not going to have time. I have to finish that. Ideally I want to finish that before the new work comes in from Asuka Sensei. So I guess I'll be putting them out. I'll be starting that work tonight then. Self-publishing, not currently. I'm doing prints for my Patreon, and I will have a big Kickstarter campaign for my first publication, which is the bonsai print that I've been carving on the Tuesday streams in the evening. So there'll probably be a big Kickstarter campaign for that, and that'll be how I publish that one. I actually have a link to one of the Senshaftas here. This is one of the Senshafta designs. This is the simple one, and then there's a more complex one that goes along with it. I think we might be done with this large chisel. Gonna have to move down size soon. What time are we on? Ooh, coming to the end. 10 more minutes. What's the plan when you have an important secret project to work on for a prolonged period? Mark, nothing will change. The streams will stay the same. I'll just do other work. I have no shortage of work I need to be doing. So with stuff like projects for Asuka Sensei, which the designs and stuff, I'm under NDAs, and I'm not allowed to publicize any of that work. I can't carve those on streams, but there's always the bonsai project or the Senshaftas. If time gets really, really tight and I'm giving kind of a ridiculous deadline, I might do shorter streams in the evening, so it's just like an hour. I guess I can spare an hour, but... And I might have to just... To compensate, I'll start work a little earlier, finish work a little sooner, so that I can have a little bit more time in the evenings to do my stuff. But I think I don't want to really mess with the schedule of the stream. I was really quite reluctant for the last Friday stream to cancel that. I think it's important to kind of keep times consistent. As long as it doesn't spread you too thin, yeah. Yeah, work-life balance is a tricky thing. Especially when you have like an obsessive personality. And a toddler, yeah. I'm getting a lot of time with him. It's really great. I've managed to sort of reprioritize those things much better. It does mean 0 me time though. I used to play once a week with my friend from the UK. We used to play Rocket League once a week, every weekend, once or twice on the weekends, in the evenings. But it's been more than a month since we did that. That used to be my only like sort of downtime, me time. And he's just been moving house recently. He just bought a new house. So he's been busy and I've been busy. Right, it's good fun. I am ready for a holiday though. Going back to the UK in September. And I'm really excited. I think about it a lot nowadays. Not because I don't like my work, it's just I haven't seen. I want my family to meet my son. Coming to the end. Yeah, so we managed to nearly do this whole block on this stream. I'll just come in with a smaller ice cube and finish those off. The other thing I will do is this Hikitsuke, the registration mark, is a little close to this. So I will take the top off that. I'll smooth over the corners here. And yeah, that's close. So I will take the back off this. Just shave the back a little bit. So it's not putting any pressure on the bone, not catching on the bone. And obviously I'll clean up the front there as well. We don't want an angle there. I'm going to slice that off. And then round over the edges. I'll slice that off, round over the edges. Keep on camera. This one I'll do the same to. And then smooth the block out a little bit and it should be done. Cheers, Golter. See you. I do want to remember today we're officially at an hour and a half. I started a little bit earlier, I guess. Okay. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, I am going to see if we can do some raiding. Cheers, Flyfish. I'll take a look at this after. いや、漢字あんまりよく読めないなんですよ。多分下なんで。ガウジ読めないよ。My kanji's awful. Thank you for a wonderful stream. I don't know. I think it's been a bit dull and low energy today. I didn't throw up though. I didn't throw up once. I did feel like it a couple times. It's Chinese. Is it? Okay, I don't feel so bad then. That's Chinese, okay. I feel much better now. Not that I could have done much better in Japanese. My kanji reading skills are truly dreadful. Let's see if there's anyone to raid. Oh, Kale is online. Okay, I don't know what they're doing now, but I checked out this streamer recently who does pixel art. I think they're playing a game now, it looks like. But their pixel art was really, really cute. So I'm going to send us on a raid over there. The streamer's called Kale. Thank you, everyone, for showing up today. If you want to see some cute pixel art, or I think they're playing a game, I'm not sure.
とても
say
thank
hi,
you.
please be nice. とても thank you. ありがとう. I'll see you on Tuesday. We'll be doing some Sen Shafter, I guess. That's got to get started. Have a lovely weekend. It's Friday. Thank you. Hopefully I feel better on Tuesday. And this print will be out the door. And I'm sure more than a few of you will be in the subscription list for this. So you'll get this print. And you can say you've seen some of it carved live. Arigatou gozaimasu. I'm not very good at knowing how to end these things. See you. Bye bye bye. Raid. Arigatou.